It's no secret if you've watched some of my past character design videos, but I'm a huge fan of the works of Hideki Kamiya. Devil May Cry's Dante is one of the most iconic action game characters ever, so his inclusion in the best designed series was obvious. Today, we're here to talk about another character of Kamiya's, one that was created after he left Capcom and Dante behind in 2006. Forming Seeds Inc., which would eventually become Platinum Games, Kamiya wasn't ready to bow out of the action game genre. 2009 saw the release of Bayonetta, a series which borrowed a lot of its DNA from Devil May Cry via its settings, enemies, characters, and gameplay. However, Kamiya didn't want to retread the exact same ground, feeling in particular that he had done all that he could with male protagonists. Thus, Bayonetta was born. The Umbra Witch's namesake was inspired by a bayonet, implying that there was more to her than meets the eye in a similar fashion to this traditional weapon of war. Kamiya worked with character designer Mari Shimazaki over a full calendar year to create the new character, installing 3 traits that he thought were critical. 1. She had to be a female lead. 2. She was a modern witch. 3. She had to use 4 guns. Hundreds of design concepts were developed for Bayonetta, with an astounding number of differences in style. Some are high fashion, looking like they came off of a London Fashion Week catwalk, whereas others appear like Devil May Cry / Darkstalker hybrids. Sketches by concept artist Wesley Burt also stand out especially, with a design that looks like it fit right in amongst the Forbidden West. Eventually, longer limbs became a sticking point of the character that Kamiya loved. Kamiya requested that glasses should be added to the final design to add a greater sense of mystery and intelligence, though Shimazaki thought he may have possibly just had a preference towards women with glasses. In most cases, I'd say that sexualization of video game characters is completely unnecessary, but whether it was intentional or not, Bayonetta feels like the best case example of this being done right. Embracing her sexuality in the most empowering of fashions and owning her campy world with confidence, charm and skill, owning each and every scene with killer looks and a sassy British attitude. There's a reason this character is so beloved, and that's down to her fantastic characterization and one of the best character designs from the past 2 decades. Today we'll take a look at how the design developed across the series and decide where it hit its highest point. Bayonetta's first appearance came in the game named after her, establishing her iconic look. She's a luxurious, provocative and fashion-conscious character that subverts witch design tropes. She has grey eyes, which she covers with narrow rectangular lens glasses, along with a beauty mark located to the side of her lips. Her elegance is complemented by long white gloves that she wears on each arm. She has long black hair, tied with an inscribed red ribbon to form a beehive in place of a stereotypical witch's hat. This hair is very important as it forms the black bodysuit that clings to a majority of her body, putting emphasis on her out-of-this-world physical features and dynamic action poses. Abilities such as demonic summoning and wicked weave attacks reveal her body as she uses them due to the significant use of hair involved. While Bayonetta's hair doesn't fray back to witches of old, many of her accessories do. Golden trinkets can be found within her hair and across her body. Some of these are there to make the suit look more glamorous, while others take the shape of more traditional witch-like iconography. Her Umbra Witch chest piece, belt buckles and zips take the form of a crescent moon, while her earrings take the form of a cat, which I'd assume is a black one if it wasn't for the gold coating. My favourite part of her design has to be her high heels, which link to a set of her dual pistols, aptly named Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme, after popular English folk song Scarborough Fair. While Bayonetta's use of firearm footwear is aesthetically unique, it also factors into the gameplay, offering the player a unique gunplay experience, as she allows the player to fire guns from both her top and bottom halves. Speaking of the guns, her signature pistols are red, to match with the overarching use of the colour across the rest of her design. Bayonetta's confidence, showmanship and beauty is radiated with references to butterflies throughout. They are within the frames of her glasses, her shadow teases wings of her own, and her double jump reveals them in gameplay. There's a plot element at play here too, but I don't want to spoil it. This debut look for Bayonetta meshed well with the dynamic action gameplay. immediately firing her into an elite class of action game characters, popular with fans and critics alike. Game publisher Sega cottoned onto the strength of Bayonetta's design before the game's launch, deciding to host an official cosplay contest to celebrate Bayonetta's release. After auditioning 100 women, Penny Drake emerged as the winner, becoming the official Bayonetta cosplay for the 2009 E3 Expo. The 5'11" actress and model brought the character to life in memorable fashion, but it wasn't the last medium we'd see this design displayed in. Bayonetta's video game debut was shortly followed by an anime adaptation. Produced by Gonzo Studios, Bayonetta Bloody Fate was a loose recreation of the plot of the first game, with a few small changes. With that known, it's not a shock that her design mostly matched what the game had established. Like the plot, minor cosmetic differences were present within her design. The biggest change? Her cat earrings altered to match with the crescent moon stylings of her Umbra watch. With the release of the game's sequel, Bayonetta maintained her clear silhouette and bodysuit, though some of her key cosmic features would appear differently. In a 2013 interview with Silicon Era, Bayonetta 2 director Yusuke Hashimoto described these changes, claiming that Bayonetta's personality is the type that would not want to remain stagnant. She would want to change her style, taste in fashion, and her costumes. It was an explanation that made a lot of sense given the character's fashion-centric characterization. The most notable changes saw the long beehive replaced by a far shorter hairstyle, and a switch-up of her wardrobe. The decision was made this time around to replace the reds in Bayonetta's design with blues, to better reflect the themes of the game and its story. Blues are all over the bodysuit with its new intrinsic patterns, replacing the many golden features present in the last ensemble, which are also now depicted as silver. In an official Platinum Games blog post, designer Shimazake also confirmed a key change behind the design process. In the original Bayonetta, her design was focused around curves. In Bayonetta 2, her design focused on straight lines. It's clear to see this within her outfit. The front of her suit boasts a pointed shoulder-padded cape. The back of her suit reveals her leg via diamond-shaped cutouts. She wears triangular earrings with hexagonal detailing within. Finally, the crescent moon no longer litters the suit, with all other accessories being sharpened into star-like forms. Of course, despite these changes, she still retained her trademark physique, glasses, and beauty spot. It's also worth mentioning that Bayonetta 2 emerged to the shock of many as a Nintendo exclusive, quite the surprise given the company's association with family-friendly video games. Despite a bold decision to promote the game via Playboy magazine and model Pamela Horton, Nintendo delivered characteristically with its additional outfit inclusions across its port of Bayonetta and release of Bayonetta 2. Unlockable across the games were outfits inspired by classic Nintendo characters. These included the Mushroom Kingdom Princess, an outfit clearly paying homage to Princess Peach, complete with Mario, Power Stars, pink dress, white stockings, and red heels. The Sarasaland Princess, a reference to Princess Daisy, all the way down to her being a peach colour, adding new meaning to Mama Luigi.
That's Mama Luigi to you, Mario!
The hero of Hyrule, a look resembling Link from The Legend of Zelda, but makes her look like a conehead. I have talked about coneheads so many times in this series. The Galactic Bounty Hunter, Samus Aran with power armour even slimmer than other M's. I'm Metroid Dread, the catwalk that this one would have graced. I'm here all week. The Star Mercenary, a Fox McCloud outfit topped off the Nintendo theme, including nods to every member of the Star Fox crew. These were all fun additions, but to me personally, were all a thing of nightmares. Appearances on the Wii U weren't limited to the Bayonetta games alone, as Platinum launched another title on Nintendo's new platform. The Wonderful 101 was an interesting, critically acclaimed experiment, despite failing to meet initial sales expectations. The game was focused around a medley of superhero characters, all controlled from an isometric viewpoint. The characters' designs were chibi and reminiscent of Capcom's Beautiful Joe series, of which 101's creators Kamiya and Atsushi Inaba both previously worked on. As an unlockable for collecting all of the in-game achievements, players would be treated to the use of Bayonetta as an in-game hero, complete with a cutesy character model based on her design from the original game. Despite being dubbed Wonder Bayonetta, she still had the character's distinct look from the first game down to a T. Bayonetta continued her relationship with Nintendo on Wii U, becoming the last DLC character for that console's Super Smash Bros. Entry, winning the public-voted Smash Bros. Fighter ballot to gain entry into the prestigious fighting game series. She looked fantastic in the game, highlighting both her original look and updated one as an alternate outfit. Though her height has never technically been officially specified, liberties were likely taken with it in her Smash inclusion, much like the scale of many of the other characters in the series. When compared to some of these other Nintendo characters, Bayonetta simply would have looked too big if she had maintained her original scale against them. There's a hint for a character design video in that sentence somewhere. Bayonetta 3 was announced all the way back in 2017 for the Nintendo Switch, but after a radio silence and growing fears that the game could be in deep trouble, we were finally graced with a gameplay trailer in the most recent Nintendo Direct. After a few curveballs, including a tease for Astral Chain 2, Bayo was finally revealed to be back, and her third entry brings in her most significant design overhaul, this time a blend of old and new. While not as overwhelming as the blue colour scheme of Bayonetta 2, purple is the key new colour behind her design this time around, a mixture of the key colours red and blue that made up her previous designs. Subtle inclusions of reds are back within the palette too, in the forms of jewels and the return of her hairband. Similarly, her hair has returned to a longer style, though it is now plaited, and many more gold detailings have found their way back onto her bodysuit. These inclusions feel far more regal and high class than they had before. Cat-themed jewellery is something I do like the return of, with a cat literally holding her outfit together. It's not the only return, as a number of crescent moon shapes can be found throughout the ensemble as well. A number of content creators have started to interrogate this design further, with one of my favourites, the Sphere Hunter, predicting that this Bayonetta is a grown-up version of Cereza, the alternate timeline younger Bayonetta that was found within the first game. Even going as far to predict this game may see the explanation of how Bayonetta got her beauty mark. It will be interesting to see if Susie's prediction plays out, considering she's usually on the mark, but it's hard to ignore these comparisons to the younger Bayo once they have been pointed out. Her hair is in the same style for starters, as well as the use of the red ribbon. Her facial features are overall softer, with her new glasses being very similar as well. The puffy sleeves and short hair ruffles found within her suit seem to draw a reference from her younger self's dress, and the changes to the outfit are a noticeable departure from the leathery type bodysuit of the first two games, with her silhouette now being a different shape for the very first time. The looser fit of her clothes, partnered with those puffy sleeves and pigtails, is a design overhaul that moves away from the leather-clad Dommy Mommy, can't believe I just said that out loud, of the first two entries. On the surface, it does appear that this design is a blend of Bayonetta 1 and Cereza's, implying that this character could be the latter grown-up, or a reimagining of Bayonetta entirely. This theory would work with a number of thematic elements within the suit too. Many of her new accessories resemble the seed of life, roots from a tree, flowers and butterflies, suggesting themes of nature and rebirth. Is this technically the Bayonetta that we played as in the first two games? Is this a younger Bayonetta in a prequel? Or is it Cereza grown old? Only time will tell. Regardless, I think it's a great reimagining of the character once again, and can't wait to find out more about her when the game's next entry finally releases. When comparing the designs we've looked at today, it's a challenge to outright claim that one of them is better than the other. I find all of them incredible for distinct reasons, and love how each of them has a clear theme and colour scheme to represent it. I love the uniqueness of the original, I love the way the second reinvents this look, and I love the level of mystique and change that the third entry brings. I think this is purely a case of preference rather than which is better, but the best design is the name of the series, so with that in mind, I select the original Bayonetta as my best design. I don't think I'll be alone in my opinion, but for me at least, there are two factors at play here: her colour scheme and hairstyle. The red colour palette stands out more than the blues and purples used in future game entries. I think this is very important. Bayonetta should always be the centre of attention. It's essential for her character, and even more essential for her gameplay. The colour red ensures it. It's easy to see, and it stands out. I'm also a bit of a sucker for red and black, preferring it in the game's logo too. The long beehive hairstyle is also a deciding factor. It's not a look seen often in female video game characters. In fact, I've rarely seen it used in contemporary media at all. Given how important Bayonetta's hair is to her abilities, and her association with high fashion, I love that it has such a distinct and memorable appearance to match. It's easily my favourite witch-like quality to her design, and I'm very happy they didn't give her a witch's hat. I was sad to lose both of these elements when Bayonetta 2 released, and it's likely part of the reason why I enjoy Free's design so much. It feels like a halfway step back to this one, while still feeling fresh and offering something new, which is kind of exactly what you want with a new design. So that's it from me. Did you agree with me, or are you a fan of a different Bayonetta design entirely? Let me know in the comment section below, and go and check out another character design video if you have the time. At this time, as always, I'd like to thank my patrons who help make these videos possible, with a special shout out going to Proggy Froggy, who is donating at the top tier. You know the drill. If you want early access to the videos and fancy helping me out, please consider supporting the channel on Patreon.